Live. Okay, thank you for joining us, including online. Our speakers will come up shortly, and we did hear clearly from folks online that we want the speakers to be visible. So we have a little box you're supposed to stay around, and I think our sound is awesome. Thanks to Zeke Kalua, who helps us out. He's the guy. I know. It always works when it's Zeke. So I'm going to run through a few announcements before we turn it over to our team here. But mahalo again for coming. What a great turnout tonight. We just to remind you, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about 211, delve into it a little bit more. But we always like to remind you to use it to access disaster case management. But you hear a little bit more about it, and the team will be here tonight to help answer any questions. Please take care of yourself. There is no other way to say it simpler than the care you give yourself and the kindness you give yourself will matter. It's just like the airplane. Put the oxygen on yourself first so you can help yourself and then you can help others. So we always remind you that if you need resources and support, here's the number to call. And all of our slides are on mauirecovers.org, or also we're live streaming on Facebook. So I know if you have a hard time seeing it in the bleachers or you're watching from home or elsewhere, you can also zoom in and get the information on the slides. But please call 808-446-6676 for resources and support. And if you are, or someone you know, or someone you love, or someone you see is in an immediate mental health crisis, please text 988 if your phone has an 808 area code. And then there are numbers here on the screen for direct contact to a hotline, and a 24/7 chat is available at 988lifeline.org/chat. We want you to use as much resource as possible. Okay, I know you're not waving at me, so you must be waving at the door. Okay, somebody, there are 5 people here who want you to go to them. Oh, you're practicing for a Q&A. Okay, you're too early. You're like 45 minutes too early. Okay, very good though. Raise your hand. All right. This past weekend, we had the Remembrance Ride. I have to be frank with you. We didn't know what we were doing because Laurie de Gama, who's over here, and Nestor Ugale, who is not here with us tonight, he probably is working, had this fabulous idea and wanted to know how the county could support bringing in Lahaina residents to see your town, to just experience that. What a phenomenal weekend, I gotta say, for all of us. The volunteers, our organizing team, it was one of the most humbling experiences our team has had the privilege to be a part of. So for the close to 600 residents from Lahaina who took advantage of it, we offer you our mahalo for trusting us, for giving us the opportunity to offer it to you. We ran it for 3 days. We wanted to give you a little bit of a report out. We had nearly 600 residents. We understood, we were seeing that all 700 plus seats were reserved. They were. But it may not be for everyone. If you woke up that day and just really weren't up to it, or you weren't feeling well, totally fine. No worries at all. But we did have close to 600 residents come. I think it was like 590 something passengers. More than 40 volunteers came out. Those of you, raise your hand if you went. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you, thank you. More than 40 volunteers. You saw how they ran out and waved at everybody. And, you know, our team Aloha did a fabulous job. So I really want to mahalo all of them. They came out from everywhere. We also had the garden. I have to say, you all met Daryl Fujiwara earlier from Lahaina. He's our coordinator for all of the Kuhinia Maui events. This was his idea to do the garden. I didn't know what he meant. He just said, I'm going to do a garden. And I said, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Good luck. Just do it. And we'll see you there. I trust you. So as you can see, it turned out into a terrific area to just hang out. Got off the bus. And I hope those of you who went appreciated that. We have a lot of people to mahalo for that, you know, not just Laurie, the Gama, and Nesu Ugale, but we had Ohana Real Estate who brought all the furniture over. They trucked it over, truckloads after truckloads. We had Manzano Entertainment who brought in that big, I don't know what you call it, that big white thing, the wedding thing that we all sat under. We want to mahalo Red Lightning and Blue Hawaiian Helicopters and Salvation Army for the refreshments, the snacks, the Hyatt. We had hotels giving our lunch, our volunteers luncheon. Those plants, when you enter the walkway right at the gate, was given to us by Tiare Lawrence from Mahipono, from their inventory. We had Westside pastors offer pule before every bus went on its way. So, and most of all, we want to thank you for just being there with us and letting us. So thank you. We will continue with the remembrance gatherings next week. It's already here, pretty exciting, a little bit big stuff going on. So we want to again remind you that all of our gatherings are coming from the community. These are community inspired. Someone said, think about this with this work. And so we offer it with aloha. If you want to come, come. If you don't want to come, it's okay too. And if you want to come to some, but not all, that's okay too. You find the one that you want to be with others in your community. So that's important for you to know. You can email a question at aloha@kohiniamaui.org. We're on Facebook, and there are going to be flyers when you exit with all of the events again. So you just come, and I know it says, please click, if you go online, it says, click here to let us know you're coming. There's no tickets. We're just trying to get on head count because some of them there's free food, some of them involve parking. So we don't know, yeah, like 50 people gonna come or 500 people. It's sounding like it's going to be a good experience to come together. So just consider that. You want to come, please come. By the way, our team is working really hard for you to have the best experience possible. So anytime you see one shirt that says Team Aloha, that's a volunteer. I was telling Mayor, we learned a valuable lesson. We put all our volunteers in Team Aloha shirts that were what color? Red. And then we told everybody, please go see somebody in red for help. And then half of everybody who came, the 600, showed up in red shirts. You're wearing your Lahaina strong, Maui strong, community strong, everybody strong, Ohana strong, the world strong. So the parking lot and the buses were full of red shirts, but they weren't our volunteers. So somebody reminded us that we got to look around. So please bear with us. From August 8th, we'll be in not red shirts. You can wear your red shirts, but we learned a valuable lesson. It was pretty funny at the moment, but thank you, whoever told us that. Somebody told us that. If you want to have a story to share, we're doing this for both Upcountry and Lahaina. There's a QR code on the website, on the flyer, by the door, on the screen. Just put in one short story. It can be anonymous. Mahalo to the person who helped me carry something. Mahalo to the person who moved the tree that was in my way. Mahalo to everybody who gave us baby food when we needed it the most. Whatever you want to tell. The story should come from you all. So we ask that you do that. This will be shared during the week of remembrance at our events. I want to announce that last week we said there was a group that's going to offer free Hayden mango tree giveaways for Lahaina residents. All of you said, ooh. So this is the QR code. It takes you to the sign-up sheet. It's presented with aloha from Aloha Aina Le'ali'i, as well as Tree Covery. They welcome you to sign up here. This is Kailani Ross and Dwayne Sparkman of Tree Covery. So I want you to take a picture of this because this is how you're going to sign up to get your Hayden mango tree. And then later on, they're here tonight, so they can answer questions if you want during the Q&A, and you can see them later to sign up in person if you want. Dwayne, did you bring Dwayne, wave your hand. Okay, where's Kailani? Okay, wave your hand. Those two, how about a hand for them? So this is awesome. This is the Legacy Hayden Mango trees. We recently on Monday had a blessing at Princess Nahi Enna. You'll learn more about it or you can see it in the media. This is the West Maui Childhood Education Collective, a site where Family Support Services, Kama'aina Kids, and Aha Punana Leo will be operating services for you. So it's a beautiful location, and we mahalo everybody who helped make that happen. Every last week of the month, we do a homeowners webinar. This last one was held with over 300 participants online. That's amazing. They talked about all of those things, temporary structures, Kaka'o Maui, that pre-development grant, that money that we're talking about. We had United policyholders available. We tell you this because if you go to the QR code or go to mauirecovers.org, you can watch a recording. So if you miss the meeting, if you are not one of the 300 plus people, you can watch a recording, rewind, pull out, whatever you want. Okay, so this is where that information is. We announced before for Kuhua Milk Camp property owners, these meetings are for you. It'll be held August 16, 17. We added some dates. The earlier dates are full, so we added 3 more. And this is for residents of Kuhua and Mill Camp. We'll be talking with you specific to your area. All right, so you can register. You have to register for this, right? So use a QR code or go to mauirecovers.org/events. So tonight you're going to hear from Colonel Swenson, who is still our favorite colonel. Last week he was poking fun at that, on debris clearing. We'll get an update from the Maui Emergency Management Agency on Hono'opi'ilani Highway and the checkpoints in that area. We invited the State Department of Human Services to help us understand the disaster case management program better. And of course, the much awaited for information on special management area and shoreline rules. You all are becoming very familiar with Kate Blystone, our head of the Department of Planning, and then we'll take Q&A from there. Keep in mind when you hear about the checkpoints and the Hono'opi'ilani Highway, those are subject to change. So we'll do our best. And again, everything will be on the website because you have to zoom in a little bit to get some of the map information. There will be no community meeting next week. We will be focused on Remembrance Week. So please take that week off from us. Sorry, Colonel. But next week, Wednesday, we will not be here. So no meeting. Use it to have a good break. And then our next meeting will resume the following week, August 14. Right. Ooh, lots of announcements. At this time, Mayor Bisson.
Thank you, Mahina. Aloha, ohana. I just want to acknowledge our advisory team members that are here tonight. Earl Kukahiko, Lorilei Degama, Don't Turn Away, and Kim Ball. I always want to acknowledge them for them not just coming to our meetings, but coming to these Wednesday meetings too. So I started my morning at 9 a.m. at the Lahaina Luna High School Library. And I'm wearing leis that were given to me at 2 events that morning, this morning. That was one of them. And what it was for is the Downtown Athletic Club, through the efforts of Hawaii Community Foundation, gave out 13 scholarships to 13 Lahaina Luna graduates, seniors. These 13, you folks probably know this, but seniors were also offered free tuition at the University of Hawaii campuses. But all of these students range from UNLV to UCLA, from Portland or from Oregon to Grand Canyon. They were all different schools, all mainland schools. And the parents just needed a little extra help to get them through their tuition this first year. So that covered all 13 students. So I was really grateful to be able to start the morning off there. And not far away was Lahaina Intermediate, where all the kumu, all the staff, all the administration from the different 4 schools here, the 4 public schools on this side, were honored and were given gifts. Do we have any teachers in the audience tonight that were there today? Okay, they don't want to raise their hand. Your friend's raising their hand for you. They were given all sorts of gifts and things today. Massages, acupuncture. There were just so many different events that were held for them, and that's where I received this lei from, was from that event. But I just needed to tell you that the purpose behind that was to care for those folks who care for your kids. And it was an awesome experience to be among them. It was, I don't want to say, it was well attended, it was full, but it was well intentioned too. So it was good that the groups that put it together, Tina Botello and her group, was designed, again, to show aloha to all the teachers who have done so much for all the kids through all of this, despite their own challenges. I'll just leave you one last thought. Do any of you have cell phones? Does anybody have a cell phone? Everybody has one? Okay, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Between now and next week, and it's going to be a challenging week for everybody, and it probably already has started for some. I would like for you to call somebody on that phone that maybe you haven't spoken to for a bit, or somebody that you think could use a kind word. Can you all do that? Can you all call, find somebody to call? Okay, if you want to be ambitious, find 3 people in the next week that you can call and ask them how they're doing. And if you really want to get an A+, since I was around teachers today, call 1 person a day between now and next week. But I want you to do 2 things, or one of 2 things. I want you to ask them how they're doing and give them a kind word. Or talk to somebody who you think would like to know how you're doing. So maybe you got a family member who doesn't live here, they live away, and maybe you haven't checked on them, or they haven't checked in with you. Give them a call and tell them how you're doing. Tell them how you're feeling. If you're doing good, let them know that, because I'm sure they're worried about you. Okay? Can we all do that? Everybody got a cell phone, right? All right. Do that for yourselves, okay? Thank you. I would like to ask, turn this over to your council member, Tamara Paulton.
Thank you. Aloha mai kako. Thank you everyone for coming. I also was at the teacher event. It was really inspiring. I mean, those are the folks that are gonna take care of our kids. So it was really great to see them being taken care of to start off the year. Just an update from your council side. The council chambers is still closed because of the election. It won't be this Saturday, it'll be next Saturday. If you haven't gotten your ballots yet, call the county clerk 270-7749. And even up until August 13th, which is the next council meeting, we won't be in the chambers because they need to clean up any live ballots if there is some sort of challenge or anything. So the August 13th council meeting will be in the personnel conference room, and we're also using the planning commission room for committee meetings next week, but it'll be a virtual hybrid format. So that's the in-person location, but it will be also online. And as we have Director Blystone and Ms. Stackerson here, I just wanted to say that the council has no authority in the shoreline management area. We don't pass laws or rules in the shoreline management area. It's wholly under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission and Planning Department. So I can try and find out information from you, but I can advocate to some extent, but we don't make decisions in the shoreline management area, so, or the special management area, sorry. So I just wanted to clear that up. But I'm more than happy to try and get information for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Just a quick announcement. Last week, we had said that the Lahaina Community Land Trust would be here tonight to do a presentation, but unfortunately, they are not feeling well, so won't be here tonight. they'll be coming in a couple of weeks when we resume on the 14th. So at this point, Colonel Sun.
Thank you, Mahina. Aloha. That's good. That's good. So we had a great day today here in Lahaina town, working on residential and commercial debris removal and making great progress on the temporary housing site. Also, just keeping with the theme of schools. You know, we were hanging out at the school, the new temporary King Kamehameha III school, and making sure that place is ready to go for the kids here coming August 7th. So we're really excited about that opportunity to welcome them back to that great school. If you haven't had a chance to drive up there, it's a great place for them to learn until we get a permanent school for them. Also, just wanted to cover, I think the red shirts came from the Corps of Engineers, but maybe not. It's not. We share. I mean, we share. I know Lahaina Luna has been around since 1831 in the days of David Malo, and that's a long lineage of having red. So we've been around for a long time as well, but we're not competing. So we'll share in the color red here with the Corps. Also, I just wanted to double sort of reinforce what the mayor's saying. I think if you want to get the graduate degree, right, you got to send the call a day every day to someone you haven't talked to in a while, which is really important. But if you want the graduate A+, you should get out a pen and paper and send a letter, because everyone loves to receive a letter. And just an aside, I know this is on Facebook Live, but I'm gonna call the mayor to check on the mayor. Yeah, because we all need to make sure that our leaders are feeling energized and loved, so that they have the energy to help navigate this community for the future, right? That's really important. Okay, I just want to I'm going to give a couple updates, then I'm going to talk about debris removal at the end. So today we had our kickoff pre-construction meeting for the Fleming Road sewer line. You've heard me talk about it before. That's the sewer line that's going to run down Fleming Road. It's going to tie into Malo Street and to the sewage lift station that the county runs. And that's to help us get sanitary sewers working for the Kilohana temporary group housing site, which is located up near Wahikuli neighborhood, Malka of Wahikuli neighborhood. That site will kick off with a ground blessing ceremony on the 9th, and then about the 12th, you'll start seeing us with equipment on the roads doing work to put that sewer line in. I just want to remind everyone, I'm super proud of the federal, state, and county efforts to get this sewer line in. It's going to be it's going to be really great for the community, and it takes a bite out of some of the cesspools that are in the Wahikuli neighborhood, because it'll be designed and built in such a way that it allows homes to start to convert from cesspool to public sewer, which is great for our aquatic ecosystem health, right? And it's a really positive step. So honored to be part of that, and looking forward to getting that construction started soon. I will tell you, the community, as we start to reintegrate on some of the roads, and I know many of you who live in that neighborhood are starting to get back to do your rebuilding operations. Just know there will be some construction-related delays in particular on Fleming Road. The contractor is great. They're going to work with the community to make sure that if you live on that road, you still have access. But I just ask for your continued patience with some of the heavy construction traffic until we can get that really important project in the ground. You're going to hear Everett talk soon about the reopening of Hanawapi Ilani Highway, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm just going to say, as we start to reopen some of these roads, again, I just ask you to be patient. There is still some construction traffic out there. These are large vehicles entering the highway. We've notified all of our crews that there's going to be an increase in traffic, but I just ask, just be a little patient. They're going to grant you that aloha that you deserve, and if you could return that favor, we would appreciate it. We're all here working for the same ends. And the faster we can get it done, the faster you can get yourselves back onto your properties and into your homes, your new homes. Also, again, as we start to release, as the county starts to, shift the traffic patterns a little bit, and you start to come back to your properties, I just encourage you to, when you get on your property, especially along the road, just take a quick visual look along your road. This I don't need to tell this community, but this was a fire. It burned really, really hot. It didn't burn steel, right, and heavy metals, but it did burn everything else. So anything that had a nail in it, the nail's probably still somewhere, and we picked up an awful lot of them. But just for your own safety, for your own tires safety, and for your patients, so you don't get a flat tire right as you're trying to get to work, just kind of take a walk around your lot as you go back to it, and just make sure there's no hidden hazards out there that we might have missed, right along the edge of the road. I hate for someone to get a flat tire. My crew's got lots of them. That just kind of goes with the territory of doing the debris removal mission. Also, we supported the remembrance rides, and we had a booth set up. And I think the number one question we got from residents who were coming off the bus was, how do I get my closeout packet? So if you don't know how to get your closeout packet, I'd encourage you to go to mauirecovers.org. That's the county's website. On there's all kinds of information on debris removal. You can click on it. You can type in your address, and in your packet, once your lot is clear, your packet will be uploaded. I know some of you don't like to get on the internet. I'm with you. So if you call 1-877-214-9116, you can talk to our help center, and we have some very nice people that work in that center, and they'll answer your question and sort of walk you through the process if you have questions. And we are more than happy to help you. So don't feel like you're burdening us if you have questions about your packets. We want to help connect you to your packet and to your future construction efforts on your property. Okay, I said a lot so far. I'm gonna finish with the really good news. So I've been, for the past couple of weeks, I've been telling you that our denominator is $13.99, and I'm sticking to that for today, although it might shift a little bit. Only because as we get down to the very, very end, we might have double counted one lot, or we might have picked up an additional one because we missed it somehow. As of today, we are 1,369 out of 1,399 residential lots cleared. I remember when that number was 113 or 115, and now we're at 1,369. That's 30 properties plus or minus that we haven't not removed debris on, and I think the number might even be a little bit less. We're going back and sharpening our pencils and making sure we've got the exact denominator right. And some of those lots that are left are some of the really big residential apartments that we're actively working on. Okay, lots completed. That's capital C, completed. The ones that means that the package should be hanging on the website for you to download and start your re-permitting process. That's 1224 or 87%. So yeah, that's great news. Really, really excited. Now for commercial, again, we're chasing 159. That's our denominator. Today we're at 69 properties cleared, which is, wait for it, 43%. Yeah. So we're here working hard, trying to get these properties cleared so that we can get them turned back over to the county and ultimately back in your hands so you can rebuild. Again, I appreciate all of your patience as we've worked around the clock to get these properties cleared. If you have any concerns or questions for the Corps, you can find our number. I gave it to you earlier, but you can find it on mauirecovers.org, or you can find one of us in the red shirts that say U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on it. After this meeting, we'd be happy to take your questions or your comments. And again, write a letter. Does a body good. And I'll be followed by Everett.
No.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Everett. I'm with the Maui Emergency Management Agency. I'm here to talk about the availability of Honoapiilani Highway. Right? Starting tomorrow, August 1st at 12 p.m., Honoapiilani Highway will be available for through traffic only. Okay, and this is at a request from you as a community to alleviate the traffic as we come into the school season. Okay? A couple of things to remember about Honoapiilani Highway is that speed limit is reduced to 30 miles an hour. Okay, there's no stopping on the highway. If you do, you may be cited, but please adhere to traffic controls, traffic lights, any road closures. Okay? And please do keep in mind, it still is an active debris removal area. Okay? So what does that mean with the availability of Honoapiilani Highway? Well, we will be keeping surrounding restricted zones along Honoapiilani Highway. Okay? What that means is we have 2 additional checkpoints, and we also moved 2 additional checkpoints. This map, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but there's some icons on there. There is the red icons that show hard barricades. Black has the checkpoints. And the blue is blue is existing, and then the black is the additional checkpoints. So where are these checkpoints? There's 5 of them. First one is on Front Street at Kainui. Second one is on the highway at Papalaua on the Makai side. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Mauka side. Then on the highway at Lahaina Luna, okay, Makai. On the highway at Shaw on the Makai side. And then on the southernmost part of Front Street on the Makai side. Okay. As Colonel Swinson had mentioned, there is a large volume of trucks and debris still going. So please keep that in mind as you are traversing the highway. Okay. And as a point, the Lahaina Luna checkpoint is only for the debris removal. Okay, so there's no residential or contractor access there. All right, so residential reentry as well as contractors, where can you access? Well, there are zones 7 through 16 throughout this area. So the northernmost area, 7 through 12 zones, actually I should say 7 through 16, you can access your zones via Shaw Street. 7 through 12 will be entering through Kainui and Front, and then 13 through 16 on the southern end of Front Street. Now, we want to ask to please stay within your zones, okay? And then avoid crossing into the debris removal areas, all right? And that's it.
Aloha, everyone. I'm asking the disaster case management team to come down with me. That's okay? Oh, sorry. Bear with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about we give them a round of applause as they make their way down to the front area. Big mahalo to the disaster case management program team members. Mahalo.
Come this way, guys, so I can see. So aloha, everyone. My name is Jen Monahan. I work for State DHS. I am the director of the disaster case management program, A lot of you may know Malia Davidson, who is our outreach coordinator and resiliency liaison, who has been representing this program week after week here. But we thought it was really important to have the disaster case management team here tonight, or the majority of us, our small little team. Behind me are the disaster case manager supervisors and disaster case managers from 4 different organizations that are a part of the DCMP. Those organizations are Family Life Center, Family Promise, Catholic Charities, and Aloha House. And something that I just think is really important is that Family Life Center is made of DCMs that are also wildfire survivors. So it's hard to describe this very comprehensive program in 5 minutes, but I'm going to try. I just would like everyone to know that the disaster case management program serves all wildfire survivors. Everyone is eligible, no matter if you applied to FEMA or Red Cross or you never dealt with them at all. It doesn't matter as long as you're a wildfire survivor, and thus you will be assigned a disaster case manager if you would like to be. Most FEMA-funded disaster case management programs start 12 months after a disaster. That would be this program starting right now. We are lucky that we had private funding in November of 2023 by the American Red Cross for around $1 million, I believe. I know they're here tonight. And that funded 3 different organizations to serve 700 households. That started in November 2023. In March of 2024, we moved into the FEMA-funded program that many people have heard about. The state was awarded a $17.2 million grant. And just recently, FEMA came to do a site visit of this program, going to all the orgs, interviewing the case managers, and seeing what was going well in the program. We had a very successful site visit, which is exciting. And with that, we submitted another FEMA budget amendment to scale up this program, because we certainly know that in this very tiny program that we need more people to assist more survivors. But you have to prove the success of the program in order to get more funding. So that was submitted in June of 2024, and in the next weeks ahead, we anticipate getting an answer from FEMA about that approval. So the disaster case management program also works with the long-term recovery group. I'm sure you guys have heard about that group, which is made up of private partners in the community. And we are part of the case management committee. And next week, for the first time on Tuesday, the disaster case management program is going to be going to the founders roundtable of the long-term recovery group to get closure in funding of some of the cases that we have, where we have exhausted all possible resources on this island, but we need additional resources for a survivor's recovery. So what is a disaster case manager? What do they do? A disaster case manager serves as your quarterback for the next 2 to 5 years ahead. So this group is here with you for the long term. A disaster case manager assists the survivor to develop a unique and comprehensive long-term recovery plan, and works to connect a survivor with referrals and resources that are designed for the survivor's recovery. A DCM walks side by side with the survivor to guide them in recovery and to help build resiliency in that recovery. We made this latest visual to talk about how complicated someone's life can be and how unique someone's recovery can be, and what a disaster case manager does working with a survivor on things like, of course, housing, transportation, childcare, mental health, substance abuse, licenses and documents. Thank you, Vanna White. And how complicated someone's life is. And that's what a disaster case manager helps walk people through, to know what resources that people can utilize. So quickly, our stats. As you guys know, you've heard about 211, Aloha United Way, which is our call center. We, so far since the launch of 211, which was March 14th, we've had 1,335 calls placed, which helps us expand the capacities. As you guys know, with limited funding, we had to find additional funding. Once again, thankful for the Red Cross, who gave $1 million to expand the program with United, Aloha United 211, as well as the screeners and outreach care navigators, which you may also have heard about in this program. So right now we have 9 eligibility screeners taking the calls after someone calls 211 and doing outreach to that survivor to get more information. And from there, that team then assigns someone to an outreach care navigator or a disaster case manager. Right now we have 33 disaster case managers and 5 supervisors, 15 outreach care navigators, and 3 outreach care navigator leads. So this program, since we've launched, has served 3,526 individuals. Currently, we have 1,187 open cases, which that is households, not individuals. So again, how do you get into the disaster case management program if you don't have a disaster case manager? You call 211, or if you are on the mainland, you can call 808-ASK-2000, which will connect you back here to Aloha United Way 211. And again, just to let everyone know, this is a state program, but it is operated by local community providers. And so the people that may be reaching out to you are from Family Promise, Family Life Center, Aloha House, Catholic Charities, Pacific Gateway, Hawaii Coalition for Immigrant Rights, or Global Empowerment Mission. They are all of our partners. And we will be providing more information about a community event. We're going to do an outreach community event in September. So as soon as we have those details finalized, then we will also be pushing that out to the community. But I just wanted to say thank you for having the opportunity to speak to you guys and having the team here. And we are here in numbers to answer as many questions as we can. So thank you. Thanks, guys.
So wait for everyone to get comfy. Tough act to follow, right? So I'm Kate Blustone. You've seen me before up here talking about the long-term recovery plan. But tonight, I, like the Colonel, every time have great news to talk about. So Friday, we signed the SMA and shoreline rules. So those will be in effect within 30 days. And Candace Thackerson will be here to talk about them in just a second. Before I turn the mic over to her, I just want to say we've been anticipating this day as much as you have. And so we're so excited to tell this story tonight. We brought with us some help. So after Candace is done speaking, if you have questions, we're going to have to stay high level, but if you have questions about the process, we have some folks with us here. We have this crew over here. They're going to be able to come, they'll come down. We'll be in this region here, and you can come ask questions of any of us. We all have blackish shirts on because we didn't get the memo about the red shirts. I apologize. We only have a few colors in our palette. So for now, I'm going to turn it over to Candace, who's going to give you the whole story about our new shoreline and SMA rules. So thank you.
Hi. Wow, that's a good start. So I'm Candace Thackerson. I'll stand in this designated square. Well, hopefully I'll stay there. I've been with the Maui County Planning Department for 15 years now. So I know I must have started when I was 5. Thank you, thank you. So I'll go ahead and start this presentation. So here we've got, I just did my introduction. So let me just start with what is the SMA, just in case anybody isn't familiar. So the SMA is an overlay district that was created by the state back in the 70s to help us manage development along our shoreline areas. And it's also not just managing development, but it's protecting our coastal resources, right? That's what really gives Maui its sense of place, right? All the things that are so precious to us.
And so we want to make sure that we're protecting those things. But at the same time, also informing the public about different types of risks that are involved. So this was enacted by the state, and it's basically an overlay district. I'll go into where that's located. So am I located in the SMA? That's probably your first question. So you can go to the online SMA locator map, and we have a QR code here for you. And you can just type in your address, and it will let you know if you're in the special management area or not. And it tends to be from the high wash of the wave up to the nearest state highway, okay? But in case you're not sure, you can go here and it will let you know. Okay, let's say you're in it. My parcel is in the SMA. So what does this mean for me? If you are located within the SMA, you will be required to apply for an SMA permit to build or rebuild your home, business, condo, etc. Single-family homes, including those with one ohana, so you're allowed a home and an ohana, may be able to qualify for an SMA exemption. Now, I don't like the word exemption because unfortunately you have to apply for us to deem you exempt. Because how do we know until we take a look at it? So I don't really like the word exemption, but you still have to apply for it for us to take a look at it. Shoreline owners, this isn't really applying to you specifically. I have another slide that talks a little bit of more detail, okay? So when can I apply? A lot of you are probably wanting to know, when can I apply? Now. You've been able to. We just sent one out, I think last week, one of our first SMXs for SMA permits for the Lahaina area. Another one's probably gonna go out next week. So people have been applying. So there is a process right now where you can apply with the planning department. Okay, and I'll just go over that briefly. It's called the SMX, Special Management Area Assessment. That's the title of the permit. So if you want to apply now, if you have your debris removal package, you have your construction plans ready, you know what you want to do, you have all your information drawn up and ready, you can apply now. You will go to this website. This is it's Capital Maps, MAPPS, and that is our online permitting portal. We do not take paper applications anymore. Everything has to be done online. And so you will go here and you can sign up for an account, and you will search for this application, SMX, and then it will pop up and you should be able to apply. Nothing is stopping you from applying tonight if you have all of your information and your debris removal package, okay? So everyone I know has been waiting and hearing about the expedited SMX-F permit process. So it is the exact same process as the SMX. The only difference is who is processing it. So if you apply now, you will be in the SMX process. You will be processed by the department. The only catch is that we are doing the entire island, right? The SMA is Paia, Haiku, Wailea, Molokai, Lanai. It's everybody. So when you apply now, your permit gets in line with everybody else. Of course, we will make it a priority to get to yours. We are doing our best. We have a small staff and we have to do the entire Maui County. Okay, so the only difference with the expedited permit is that 4-Leaf will be handling them, and they have a dedicated team to just do these. So we're hoping that they will happen faster, right? Because they're only handling these permits. So once the expedited process is ready and it rolls out, you will still apply on the same website. It's just that permit will have an F at the end of it, okay? And that one's going to be, that 4-Leaf will handle it versus the ones that the county is going to be doing. And it should be expedited compared to our process. And if it's not, tell me so I can maybe, call 4-Leaf and ask them what the holdup is. Okay, I just want to note that single-family homes in the SMA are limited to no more than 7,500 square feet. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't have one, that's just the exemption. If you want to go over that, it's considered a development and there's a higher level of review. I think that's a very large house. My house is definitely smaller than that, but I'm little, my boyfriend's short, I got a small dog, we don't take up a lot of space, okay? Single family homes in the National Landmark Historic District. This isn't the county historic district. This isn't like the Front Street. This is kind of the larger, like the National Lahaina Landmark District is limited to 3,500 square feet. Okay, and it doesn't mean that you cannot go over it. If you would like to go over it, then you're just required to prepare an environmental assessment, which means it has a little higher level of review. Okay, so there's never that you cannot, it's just that there's another higher level of review and the other ones will happen faster. And the square footage is the total of all structures on the parcel. So it's not just one home. If you have a home in the Ohana, we have to add them together, okay? So now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the rules. I just was going over the process earlier, but the rules passed. Mayor, thank you for signing those last week. Mahalo. So the goal of the rules, I mean, the rules hadn't been updated in a really long time. And as we all know, sea level rise is occurring, it's happening. You know, my joke is always that instead of a canary in a coal mine, it's the monk seal on the highway, which we all see, so we all know it's happening. So we updated the rules to just take all of this into account. We held a total of 4 public hearings, the last one being this last November. And as I stated earlier, the mayor signed the rules, and so they will be adopted. Well, they've been adopted, but they will become action on August 25th, okay? But the rules are not stopping you from applying now. You can apply now, they're just 2 different sets of rules, but I think for the majority of homeowners, they really won't affect you. The rules are gonna more affect the shoreline property owners. Okay, but for anybody who's just not a shoreline one, the rules probably won't have too much effect on you trying to rebuild your home. Okay, so some of the things we did in the rules was we streamlined and cleaned them up. As I said, the rules were outdated. It says things like fax me or application. I'm not sure we even have a fax machine. I don't know how to use one because I'm 20, right? So we had to kind of streamline it and bring the rules up to date. We revised some of the shoreline survey requirements. We revised some emergency permit procedures, and a great thing that we did that will make it easier once your homes are rebuilt and things like that, we created no need categories. Because right now in the SMA, everything needs a permit. Even if you want to change the cabinets in your house, paint your bedroom. If you live in the SMA, you're supposed to be doing an assessment. I see it's a lot of eyes got big at that. So I'm gonna maybe assume some of you haven't been doing that, but I didn't hear it, okay? So under the new rules, we're gonna have no need categories, and there's quite a few of them that we worked on to allow you to do these things without applying for a permit, because we don't think they have really any effect or minimal effect on the area. Like I said, painting your house, replacing your cabinets. These are things that just as much as you don't want to apply, we don't want to review it. Okay, there's larger issues, as all of us in this room know, that are going on right now. So these are things that we've deemed we can let it go. And most importantly in the rules, we've now amended how the shoreline setback works. So that's what I'm going to go over a little bit. Am I located in the shoreline setback? Currently, if you don't know where the setback is, you have to apply with us. The state has to come out and certify your parcel, because if you think about it, a parcel is like a rectangle, right? But if you're a shoreline owner, one of your lot lines is moving, right? Because the ocean moves. So how do you know where your setback is? So it's quite a lengthy process. So for the new rules, we have used the best available science to create an erosion hazard line that will be mapped. And you can go to the map and you can see it. So you can just pull it up. We love transparency. We love just more information for you to have so you can see it. So for now, you can go here and you can see if you're located in the shoreline setback. There'll be a red line that pops up, and if you are Mackay of the red line, then you are in the shoreline setback. Okay, and if you're Mauka of it, you are out. Later on, because we don't, we are going to create a separate map just on the setback, because as you can see on those boxes, there's a lot of options and a lot of different things. We want one just dedicated to the shoreline setback. So that will be available, like I said, once the rules that get pushed out, they've been signed, but they go into effect in 30 days. So that will be viewable soon to see if you're in it or not. Okay, so if you are, my parcel is in the shoreline setback. I'm a shoreline setback owner. I'm a shoreline parcel owner. What does that mean for me? Well, the state passed an Act 16 in 2020, which removed single-family homes along the shoreline from getting an exemption. Remember, I talked about you guys could get an exemption. Shoreline property owners are not allowed to get an exemption anymore because these are our shoreline parcels. We only have so much of them, and they're really important and to everyone, right? The beach is a public trust, so we want to make sure we're doing our best. So they removed that from the exemption. It's deemed a development now, so your application process is just a little bit longer. And I wasn't going to get into too much detail about it because shoreline parcels are just so unique and they're all so different and there's so many questions. So we are going to be rolling out one-on-one meetings that we'll schedule, and you will schedule them with us. There will be a website, the Office of Recovery will have it up on their website, and there will be a video for you to watch about coastal risks, and then another little short video just probably about the process, permit process. And then at the end, you can sign up. And we're gonna sit down, us and my team, we're gonna meet with all, I think it's 167 shoreline parcels and talk to them about what do they want, what do they envision, what does the law allow, and what the process is. So we're going to be meeting and talking with all of them, okay? But if you're not a shoreline property owner, like I said earlier, you can apply now. You can go online, you can go to the maps, capital maps with 2 Ps, and you can apply for an SMX permit. I hope that was informational and maybe helpful to some of you. I have brochures that I put out at the table. It's information that the state made for us just about the SMA and kind of like what the purpose is and what normally permits go through. It can be a little confusing, but yeah. Oh, thank you, council member. She's got it up, handing it there. Okay, so those are available. You can snag one on your way out the door. But again, I hope this was informational. My team will be here after. We can talk to you. I brought cards. So if you want to talk to me, about your project one-on-one, we can do that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Candace, very much. We'll go into our question session. Before we do, I just want to clarify, there was a slide, I believe, that said a sign-up sheet will be available on the Office of Recovery's website. This is mauirecovers.org. There's no another website. That is the website, mauirecovers.org. Zeke, am I in the right spot? No spot? Okay. All right. We'll take questions for our team. We have here Army Corps of Engineers, FEMA is here, State Department of Human Services, Department of Planning, Maui Emergency Management Agency, Councilmember Paulton. We have tree recovery. We have Kailani Ross, folks who are doing the mango tree giveaway, and Mayor Bisson, of course. So if you have a question, is Four Leaf here? He snuck in the last time. Okay. Four Leaf is not here this evening. So if you have a question for them, just know that we'll have to take it and then work to get you that answer. So please raise your hand if you have a question, and our helpers will go around. We have one right here and then one in front. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you so much. My question is sort of what is the intention? In the original rules, there was a process for during an emergency, if you rebuilt exactly what you had. I'm a shoreline owner. So we've been following those rules that were on the website last August. We spent the last year writing our plans. Is the intention to allow us to build what we had where we had it or not?
Thank you. Kate?
So you started with one question and ended with another in my mind. So I want to say something. We have heard a couple times that we have these emergency rules. So rules that apply in cases of emergency. So that's when a road is falling into the sea, right? Those are the circumstances in which we apply the emergency rules. So it being intended to apply, wanting to build back exactly what you had, you come in and talk to us about what your intention is, and we'll talk to you about how the new rules apply. And like Candace said, if you want to apply under the existing rules, you can do that as well. So that's the answer.
Is the intention to allow people to rebuild what they had where they had it, or is that not the intention? Are these rules going to not? Are you not going to allow people to rebuild what they had where they had it if it was a permitted building? It's a yes or no.
I would love for it to be a yes or a no, but it is not. Every parcel is different, just like Candace said. Every parcel is different, and the rules apply differently depending on your parcel. So I can't answer that with a yes or no. Our intention is to work with the community to get, to the extent they can, back what they had. But we also have a responsibility to protect health, safety, and general welfare. You've heard me say that here before. And so these rules get us to that. So I can't say yes or no. And I apologize, but that's just the state.
Thank you. We'll go here to the front with a question. Anyone else, raise your hand. Okay, and then we'll go to the end. Hang on, we're gonna go here first. Hang on, we're gonna go to the front, right here. No, front row. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
What exactly is the number for the setback? 40 feet, 150 feet? What exactly is the number on the shoreline?
Okay, Candace?
Okay, thank you. So the state has a minimum shoreline setback of 40 feet. Okay, that's the state's minimum. But we used to calculate it. So that's why you're asking me for like a specific number, because I can tell that you're familiar with the current rules. And the current rules, like I said, were based on like a lot depth calculation. But the new rules are based on an erosion hazard line that the science put together. And so it's just mapped. You can go to that website and you can type in your address and the red line will appear on your parcel. Like you can zoom into your parcel level and you can see it. So I can't tell you because some lots have 80 feet and some lots have 60, you know.
So each lot
Mhm.
will be individually, each lot will be individually, the footage will be determined by each individual lot.
Yes,
That's what you're
everyone's,
saying.
yes.
So if I have erosion on my lot in the front, it's usually taken, the measurement is taken from the high water mark, right? Onto the property.
Yes.
So let's say I have erosion on my property, my wall is disappearing.
Okay.
I will not have the same setback as my neighbor who doesn't have that problem.
So you would just go to the map and
Right.
it's the line will literally be on the map, on yours, on your neighbors, and every lot's going to be a little bit different just because of geology, coastal geology. Some beaches have a lot of waves, some beaches don't, right? So your lot the line will be
So
on
the
there.
planning department will be the ones determining that.
The line's
Footage.
already been accepted and created. We did not create it. It's created by the state of Hawaii.
Okay.
And so that's the best available science. But if you're a shoreline property owner, we will be doing one-on-ones with you.
One-on-one,
So
okay.
we will be doing that and we're going to roll them out very soon.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We'll go down to the end there and then to the gentleman at the top. Go ahead, Nanile.
Hi. I'm not sure if this is for Candace or Kate, this question. I just want to say first off, thank you. I did get my SMAX approval in Lahaina. I'm one of the first historical districts, so thank you. But now my question is, I have to do an EIS for something else. So will there be a blanketed EIS for the neighborhoods that already had infrastructure? And then because the Army Corps has been there and they've already done soil sampling, water and we had the archaeologists there and all that kind of stuff. Would you folks consider a blanketed EIS for that area, since we're not like rich billionaires that own on the ocean and we're not ocean front? So I'm kind of hoping that you guys might consider blanking it. And my other question is, who do I see and where do I go to get the EIS? Thank you.
Well, I'll handle the first one. So so within the county, we've spent a lot of time figuring out that exact question. How do we deal with the folks whose project, for example, the 3,500 square feet, I think is probably your trigger for the environmental assessment, right? How do we handle those situations so that folks can move faster? And I will tell you that we don't have the solution yet, but that is one of the things that we've talked about, is potentially doing some sort of comprehensive EIS. But like Candace said, small team, we're working as fast as we can. We're still human. I know it's hard to believe, but we are. And so it's taking a bit of time. Your second question was, how do you do an EA, right? And there are resources for you. Let's talk afterwards a little bit, but there's some kind of minimum things that need to be in an EA, and there's resources online for how to do that. And maybe we can post some of that to our website as well to help out. And it sounds like you have a follow-up.
Not a lot of questions. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay.
But with that in mind, if you could maybe blanket a neighborhood, and whether, because it costs a lot of money, and to try to make every little person try to pay that kind of money just to put a cottage is insane. So if there's a waiver maybe because of the disaster on that, if that's something you guys could think about,
Well,
like
so
waiving that.
yeah, so one of the things that we talked about, right, for the 3,500 is potentially, is there a way that we could waive that for this disaster so then an EA wouldn't be required? And so we're certainly in conversations with the state on how might we accomplish that, because as I think I've said before, the 3,500 square feet is a state rule. So, and that's what the trigger is for the EA. So 343, no one cares about the number, but that's the law that governs EAs and what triggers an EA. So it's within that.
So we're ready. We just got our first plumbing approval yesterday, and we have a cement pour coming in, and it's over 7 weeks to 8 weeks out to get cement. So one of those kind of time is of the essence,
I hear
because
you.
we're ready to start throwing up, and I'd love to be able to get that all accomplished so we can bang it out and get it done to house family. So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Morris, we'll go to the gentleman at the top, and then Nanire, way at the top. They have their hands up. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, the new red line is based on a presumed 3.2 foot sea level increase. Is that correct? So that we're drawing the line not based on what exists, but what somebody's guess of what might exist at some date in the future is what is drawing that line?
So the setback is based on, it's the state of Hawaii, I think, produced that. It's the sea level rise vulnerability report that was produced in 2017. And they predicted a 3.2 sea level rise. And so they were saying that if you build Mauka of that line, there's an 80% probability that your property will be protected from the 3.2 increase, which they're predicting that will happen by 2100. Yes, and we're the planning department, so we plan into the future for these risks.
So that brings me to a specific property that is Mauka of Front Street that now is divided by the shoreline setback. The sewer line runs down Front Street. If the water were to get anywhere near there, the county would declare it an emergency and armor the shit out of it, because they're not going to let the sewer line fall into the ocean. Therefore, anything on the mountainside of Front Street is not going to be affected. There's just about zero probability. How can you be still including that in a setback.
Okay, so as I stated before, we recommend you not building within the setback rate, but there is an option where if you choose to do so, you could apply for a shoreline setback variance. Okay, and you have a very good argument there, sir, for your variance. That's very valid. We do not make that decision. We will be either give a recommendation of approval or denial. But I think in that case, if you're a parcel that is across the street, like from Front Street, Malka side, and there's a street and another property in front of you, I would say you would probably have a good chance, but your argument would be before the Maui Planning Commission. So and I can't tell you how 9 people would vote.
We're going to
And-
let you ask one more question, and we have to get going. I know you folks have been waiting a long time for us
And,
today,
and if,
so.
since you're a shoreline one, we can talk on the one-on-one meetings about that and about structuring your argument correctly to help maybe give you the best chance at that.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Tao.
The Hawaii Tourism Authority just authorized a couple of million more dollars to be spent to bring people to Hawaii. When is Lahaina going to get a road that actually bypasses Lahaina?
That's a very good question. Okay, we're going to take that as a comment. I mean, the question of when will Lahaina have a bypass to bypass Lahaina? Is that correct? It is not the current planning that's going on right now. Council Member Paulton, would you like to comment on that? Thank you. And then we'll go to there's another gentleman up there that has a question, and then Morris right here in the blue too, and there. Go ahead, Council Member.
Sure. We kind of answered this question before. It came up recently on the Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization agenda to talk about including it on the STIP, and that organization decided not to. The current administration, when they fund federal roads, at this point is looking at resilience. And so the priority is the road from the Pali to Olowalu because it's being undermined and falling into the ocean. And there's not federal monies available for redundancy. And so it's a state decision, not a county decision. Director Sniffen sent Mr. Shishiro the other day, but basically there isn't federal money, and what's currently being worked on is the southern terminus to the Pali. That's the best answer I think we have. It's not within my decision-making authority, but that's what I know.
Thank you, Council Member. Sir, go ahead, and it will go here to the middle.
Yes, my question is actually for the mayor. You just made a statement just a minute ago that maybe we should, each of us,
We're going to ask you to hold the mic really close to you.
that each of us should maybe call somebody and with kindness and go to the next person, maybe 3 people. My question is this. You should have some kindness. Tomorrow you're going to do a sweep. I live in a tent down here. I work up here. I am trying to get off the streets. There are no resources. You give me a list of all these resources to go use, but not one of them. I've exhausted them. I've had so many people come down and give me lip service and tell me that they're going to help me and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. Nothing happens. Never got an email. I have never got a phone call in 6 months. That is ridiculous. And now you're going to come take my things from me and tell me to move and that there's no other place to go at all. I need some kindness.
Well, we're not doing
All of us do. Everybody down there. There's 7 camps down there. And the thing is that I have a job. Your worker, Naomi, what was her name? She came and told me, she says, what are you doing squatting at my park, on my property? It's not her property. The city owns it, and the taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer. That's wrong.
Thank you, sir. Let Mayor answer.
Yes.
You done?
Yes.
All right. Nobody's doing any sweeps. I thought you were done. No one's doing any sweeps. That belongs to the county of Maui, all these people here. That belongs to everybody. It doesn't belong to one person. I know you understand that. Okay. If you want to talk more later, we can talk more. Or if you just. Of course. We've been very open about it. We've gone there for the past 6 or 8 months trying to give everybody there an opportunity to move to places that we've offered to them. Not everybody wants to take it. Not everybody wants to take it. Many people have. Okay. Many people have taken them. But yeah, they're going to be moved. People are going to be moved. And they have options if they want to move to the places we've offered them. All of your things will be stored. All of your things will be stored. And you'll be treated like everybody else. You'll be treated like everybody else. It belongs. You already know what they are. You already know what they are. You already know what they are. You need to come to these meetings more. You'll get all the information. Yeah, okay. So, all right. I've already told you. But you didn't come here to listen. You came here to speak. You didn't come here to listen. Everybody else came here for other reasons. You know what? We have services. If you don't want the services, you don't have to accept them. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me just say, it's going to happen, sir. You're going to have to find somewhere else to be because that beach park is going back to everybody in this room and everybody else in the county. That's going back to everybody in the community. It belongs to everybody. We've been more than generous, helping as many as we can for as long as we can. But that's done. Yeah, you can sit down. You're done.
Thank you, Mayor. Here, I'll take that. We have a question right here in the middle. Go ahead, ma'am. And then Morris followed by her. Go ahead.
I have a really easy question. Assuming we get our SMA variance, I wanted to get one of the Hayden mango trees, and I went to the link that you had there, and it pulled up a survey. And so does that mean that we're then registered for the trees?
Oh, go ahead. Grab the mic. Dwayne.
Yes, that's how you get the trees. So what we're offering is any tree you lost, not necessarily just Hayden mangoes, any flavor mango, but we want you to be very specific about what you lost, hence the survey. We want you to tell us what you lost specifically so we can search out, find those trees and get them back to your properties. In some cases, we were able to collect scions off of trees that were previously deemed to be cut down. We collected those scions. They're being grown in haiku with addresses and names on them and will be returned to the landowners. The whole point of this is to give you guys back what you lost. So it's not necessarily just Hayden mangoes. We're doing ulu. We're doing everything that used to be here, mountain apples, you name it. Please be very specific on this survey so we can find those trees and put them in your yard. The whole point of this is to give you food security, give you fresh air, and give you shade. We're getting back to Mala'ulu Olele, and that's the plan. Okay, so please fill out the survey and let's get this going, you guys.
Dwayne, what is your website?
treecoveryhawaii.org.
treecoveryhawaii.org. Thank you, Dwayne. We'll go to the question in the middle right here, Morris. And then where did Nanile go? Nanile, and then right there, the gentleman in the black raising his hand. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sharice. This question is for the state. Once again, I'm coming back, which is you, I don't know, with the homeowner situation. So now that the insurance is running out, and then we didn't take the FEMA direct housing, right? Because most of us didn't know there's a whole process in order to be in direct housing and have insurance. You need to like apply for that, and then they exhaust your insurance, and then they take care of you under the direct housing. No problems, don't worry about rent. So that wasn't known for homeowners. However, everybody tried to tell, I guess, if FEMA tried to let us all know, that wasn't directly known to us. And I've been in FEMA meetings for months, and nobody has said that to me until today when I sat down with a FEMA agent talking about my situation. So now I'm gonna have to go into CTHA asking for rental assistance. I've had clients already being waiting 3 to 4 months for FEMA to give them their rental assistance, and then they have to pay back their landlord. That's coming up with, what is it now? I don't know, 10,000, 15,000 on your own, and then hoping month by month to get this big check that you can pay back, right? And I also have clients who are not getting the full amount, where the rent has been like up to 5,000 or more now. And so FEMA's giving us like 3,000 or just a little bit more. So that's not covering the entire rent, okay? So now we've passed the housing direct, good job, we don't have that. So now you gotta go CTHA. Now who's gonna cover the cost of that? Because the RAP program with GEM, hoping that GEM can help us, or CNHA help cover the gap, that's done. So I'm telling you guys, we're coming around here. It's August, September, October. All the homeowners who only had 1 year of insurance, we're all the next people who are going to be suffering. And I'm still paying my mortgage. Once again, I told you guys that. So why do I have to pay rent or mortgage to somebody else? And I'm paying for mine, which is dirt or air, once again. So what is the plan here? I'm already struggling, and my family's struggling. Like, what do we do? Can somebody give us a modular home? We'll put it on our property. We're getting desperate. And I asked that for the Hawaii Community Foundation couple months ago, because they got all the donations. Where is this money allocated for the homeowners? We're stressing out. And I'm part of the team, so I can see all the resources. Once again, I'm asking, where's the resources to help us?
I think FEMA, Allison, thank you.
Thank you for
Morris,
a couple questions. So I might need some clarification there. But I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with what I think you're asking. So what is the option if you have been using insurance and you're starting to deplete insurance? This is one of your questions, I think. Which the option here is that we're asking you to apply for FEMA assistance, and you could have either rental assistance, that's 2 months, it's at 100% fair market rate. And then if you use all of that 2 months and you are able to exhaust it and all of that jazz, then the next step is to apply for the continued temporary housing assistance. So both those homeowners that you're talking about, or renters that have, mostly homeowners that are using that insurance, once they've exhausted it, come to us. And you can start your application now and start collecting all of your documents. We have our FEMA folks in the back of the room, 2 of them, if they can raise their hands. If you,
that's not what I'm asking, right? Because I already know that.
Okay, great.
And I've already gotten all my paperwork in. I'm good. I'm clear to go.
Excellent.
But you're not guaranteeing that you're going to pay the entire rent that we're already signed up for. There's no guarantee of it. So out of pocket, we're going to have to pay the rest, right?
What we support is 100% fair market rate for the first 2 months. And then after that, if you're in the continuing temporary housing assistance, you would get 175% of the fair market rate. Outside of that, then we would look for, that's what FEMA would cover, right? For assistance, we would be looking, I keep putting it farther away. So 100% is what I just said for the first 2 months, 175% fair market rate after that. So you're saying, what's the gap between that? Okay, so all of my rent is more than 175% fair market rate. That's where we would encourage you to work with your case managers to look for other options that could.
I'm a case manager.
I know, I gathered that. To support you. I don't know if there are any other options here in the room.
That's
right
why I'm
now.
asking the state to help us.
Understood. I can only speak for FEMA's programs, and I don't think we have a state representative in the room right now. So I would encourage us to take that question back to
the state or Hawaii
Got
Community
it.
Foundation, something.
Thank you, Allison. So the question is there an opportunity for state or foundational philanthropic sources to supplement the FEMA support.
And I understand there is the LTRG table, right? There's a lot of information that you need to bring to the table per client. So this is a general amount of people. And so for per client, we have to bring all this information and just hope that somebody's going to help you.
Okay, and I think we missed your question about modular homes. Is there an option for FEMA or other orgs to put a modular home on the landowner's property to support the gap?
So we do have an ATTHU private homeowner program. We have an ATTHU private homeowner program. We are making call outs directly to those private homeowners as we speak. And we are doing preliminary assessments of certain land with the people who have signed on and said, yes, we'd be interested in this. For the folks that are in the insurance category, exhausting insurance, we are suggesting that you go to the rental assistance program. So at this time, if you are someone who is being called to consider the ATTHU's private on your private property, please consider that and respond to those questions.
But you have to not have insurance to get that, to apply for that program?
It's case by case basis. I would say if you got a call or if you are getting a call, you will be getting a call from FEMA if you're supposed to be getting a call. You can also check with our
Do you apply for
applicant
that?
services people. No, you would have already done your application if you have an application in. If you don't have an application in, feel free to please apply. But you would have already completed your application, and we have reviewed all of them to determine which private homeowners would qualify for an ATTHU on their private property.
Okay, we're going to go to the gentleman in the black, and then follow Nanile right behind him is another one. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mahina. And
we have-
again, I just want to start my question or my comment with gratitude to everybody that has worked so hard to get us this far. From the mayor to the Army Corps to our planning department. I want to recognize Everett Belmore. I think he's the guy that does not get a lot of recognition, and he's been there from the very beginning, right on the front line, helping people get access. So thank you, Everett. My question is, I'm kind of relating back to Kelly's question about the EAS, and I believe that the state gave the option of waiving any requirements of the SMA. I could be mistaken, but I thought that's what it was. And it seems like in a neighborhood like Shark Pit, where Kelly lives, where there were established homes, that it would make sense to go ahead and waive the EAS for anybody that is rebuilding what was there before. So I hope that would be considered. So thank you.
So I want to just correct some terminology so we're very clear. Environmental assessment is what's triggered. So an EIS is a whole nother thing, but EA, very similar. So that's one thing. There was an article that came out a few months ago that said something to that effect, and that was inaccurate. I wish that they had talked to us before publishing things, but that's not accurate. So what was said was something that the governor's proclamation allowed, waiving of 205A, again, another boring number that no one cares about. And it does, but it doesn't waive our own county rules. So we have our own county rules, and so we cannot waive it. That said, I do think there are paths forward to make that process more streamlined for folks, and potentially a comprehensive EIS is one of those. But we may have other ways, like doing kind of a mini EA, a more simple process. So we're working through that. I know every time I come here, I feel like I say, we're working through it. It's a lot to work through, guys. So I appreciate your patience.
Thank you for
thank
the
you.
clarification.
We're going to go to the top there, followed by the gentleman there in the white raising his hand. Okay, raise your hand because there's people wanting to do that, and then the gentleman in the black. Go ahead, sir, on the top.
Yeah, this question is for Kate Blystone. Maybe somebody else, but it was clearly described that the shoreline rules were there to protect the public trust, protect our natural resources, and to keep people out of harm's way. So given that, if resident and commercial properties on the shoreline are potentially in harm's way and you want to get them out of harm's way, is there any discussion of a land swap potentially for getting those properties out of harm's way?
That is an excellent question, Commissioner Decos. So I'm not the best one to talk about this. I think the mayor is approaching to address it, and he should be able to answer.
The short answer is yes. The longer answer is we're still working with the different landowners who may be able to work with us to make that happen. That would be a voluntary land swap as opposed to areas where we may need to improve evacuation. We may need to ask certain landowners if they would be willing to move just so that we can improve that for everybody else, including themselves. But the shoreline properties would be one where if you feel like you're no longer able, or maybe not you, but anybody not able to rebuild because property's been compromised. Yeah, we want to be able to offer an alternative for that. Thank you for asking that. So those are the two categories, I would say. One where we're asking the landowner to consider a land swap, and the other where the landowner is coming to us and saying, I'd like to move to another location.
Thank you, Mayor. Nicole, followed by the gentleman in white, and then Morris will come down here. Morris, right after. Go ahead, Nicole.
Aloha, everyone. I just wanted to also add to what Charisse was saying. We have requested a few times to have the Hawaii Community Foundation, a representative to come to this meeting so that we could understand a little bit more that whole thing. And just as a community member and as a person that's been attending these meetings, I just want to say to everyone that I love you guys. And, you know, we're approaching a really difficult time and feelings are coming up, and it's okay. And I think everybody just sometimes needs to take a deep breath and just remember that we're in this together. And maybe some of the concerns you could put off for a week or two to just give yourself some time. Everybody just give yourselves time. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Nicole. Mahalo. Sir?
Okay. I just wanted clarification. If I understood correctly, what you said, Kate, is that the state has stepped out of the way and made things easier, but that the county has refused to do the same. I know you didn't say it exactly that way, but that's what I heard.
Thank you for your question. So what I said is that the governor's emergency proclamation waived 205A. That's all I said. I did not say that we didn't like take the next logical step. So we are working on ways to make it easier. Just waiving it is not what we're going to do, but we're going to give you ways to make it easier. So that's just to clarify. That's what I said.
Thank you, Kate. We'll go here to the gentleman, back up to you, and then an online question. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was in 1970, I was a high school kid that went out to Waikiki and said, save our surf, because Waikiki was losing its beach. And they said, we're going to put some fingers out and we're going to grow the beach back out. Can you hear? Okay.
A little bit closer.
Okay, so we didn't do it. I mean, we won, the surfers won. And then 4 years ago, what did the state do? I walked along the beach at Sheraton. It was on the concrete. There was no beach anymore. Now there's 300 feet a beach, somewhere around there. They took care of it by taking care of it. And there's many states that do that. Florida does it, Texas does it. And there's also, So there's other solutions than, oh, the water's coming and we can't do anything about it. 3.5 feet. There's been a study, especially on Front Street, where the last 80 years, it's had floods, it's had big waves, it's had tsunamis, it's had hurricanes, and guess what? Didn't affect it one bit on Front Street, a bit. So now all of a sudden, this idea that we're collapsing in 3.5 feet in how many years? 20, something like that. I'll see you in 20 years, and it'll still be just where it is. So there's lots of ways to fix things. And
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the perspective on planning. Noted. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was looking at the map of where the flood zone is going in, and it looks like there's a lot of it is limited right to the one side of Front Street. My thoughts are like, because you're going to be Cheeseburger, Chemo's, all those restaurants, they were all on pylons, which are basically Front Street height. What if they were built 1 foot higher, so it would even be affected at all, and just have a boardwalk so that way we still get the same look left and right going down Front Street? I think that would be a logical solution, because if it's going to be Front Street is the breaking point, I mean, you're putting it on pylons, you can go up as high as you want, and they were over the water anyways. I think that would be a solution we can really work with.
Thank you. I see them nodding their head. So I know we had a workshop for the Commercial Historic District where a lot of comments were taken. I'm sure they can add that as well to it. Thank you both. I saw a hand somewhere. Oh, now I lost track. Okay, raise your hand if you have a question, but I'm going to go to this online question while Morris and Nanile scan for raise hands. This is for the state. How does a survivor get an update on the status of being connected with a DCMP after the initial call? It's been a few months since I called 211. Can you answer that? Up here on the microphone, on the camera. Thank you. So the question is, how does a survivor get an update on their status of being connected to someone? It's been a few months since they called 211.
Is that person here? Online?
It was online.
Okay. Because if they were here, I could have that name and number looked up immediately and could follow up. So because that person's online, I would say to call 211 again, or I can also give out my email and we can follow up as a team, because that shouldn't be happening. When you call 211 right now, your callback is within a week. So there's a disconnect somewhere, but we can get to the bottom of it.
Do you want to offer your email?
Yeah. It might be on the slide, but it's JMONAGHAN @dhs.hawaii.gov.
Okay, and then I think since it's online, maybe our team there can take that down and answer online. And then that way they'll have the email directly. Did you get that? Okay, good. Can I ask you after the meeting to go see them at the table and give them your email?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I got it. Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, raise your hand. We're gonna take a few more questions and then we're gonna call it a nice evening for everyone. I see. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. In the red shirt.
Yes, thank you. I have a question about the SMA majors.
Right on the microphone.
Right on the microphone. SMA major. So we didn't see any updates necessarily on SMA major. I'm in a community, we lost 94 homes. We understand because we're in a development, we'll need a major. With so many potential properties going to major, what does that hearing process look like? What's an expected timeline? Can you kind of help us understand what the SMA major process looks like in the next couple of years?
Sure, thank you. So I'm assuming that this is Puamana? Okay, so in that instance, you guys you're connected, your buildings are connected to each other. So that is a development, you're correct. And it will be an SMA major. Like my director had stated earlier with the EA process, we realize this is going to be a lot of work for us. So we're trying to edit it and streamline it. We can't control the state laws, right? But we can control our county processes. That's what we do have control over. So we're doing our best to expedite it. So we're hoping to roll out, just like I was saying, we're going to roll out an expedited version of the SMX. We're hoping to have some kind of streamlined one for the SM1, so it'll be a little bit easier. As far as the process to get before the commission, I mean, it's been pretty tough. We have many other competing ones. I would hate to give you a specific time frame, but when you sign up to do your one-on-one meetings, we'll have that information more fleshed out for you. Oh, here's my director. This is my boss.
Yeah, so I have mic authority. So this is another way where we're trying to streamline the process. We've been talking internally because currently our planning commission meets twice a month, which is great in normal times. We can usually handle the load, but right now, with what we've got coming for Lahaina and for some other things that we are doing right now that require our planning commission, we're trying to figure out a way to use our resources as best as possible and try to get more stuff to move through the planning commission, perhaps meet more frequently. I know I have a commissioner in the audience right now who's probably freaking out a little bit, maybe some online. But there are ways that we're looking to make that process go more quickly because we have so many things coming down the pike. There's just way more than we've ever dealt with before. So it's on our minds, just like with staffing levels and making sure we have enough staff to do the job. We're looking to make sure that we have enough process, the systems, all the pieces of the system work efficiently. So thank you for that question.
Thank you, Kate. Go ahead, sir.
Just one thing, is there a possibility that we could have meetings like this about the lawsuits that are being tossed around with everybody here that got hurt? We know there's some bad actors that owe, and I hear on the radio, okay, there's a $4 billion deal that's being handled by some other people, and that's going to start to fix things. Well, the thing that needs to be helped with from the government, I hope, is that right now we're just making a pool of money for lawyers. Okay, there's 3 billion of them on radio every day, and all they're doing is saying, sign up with me. I got these other guys that are going to do this. They're going to get the money, and we'll get 50% of it, or we'll say 40 or 30. It'll be 50 or more. And why are we doing it to pay lawyers? Why don't we do it as a company and a bunch of people to sit down and let's work this thing out? Because we don't want to, if we get everybody wants what they want, but if they just go bankrupt, nobody gets paid, and we lose it's just crazy. We should be able to meet like this and talk about that part of the situation as well, because there's $5 to $8 billion out there that'll help these people that are sleeping in tents. And because, 5 years from now, not going to help anybody.
Thank you for that. I'm certain there are attorneys cringing at your request for community meeting about it, but I appreciate the honesty. And I see that our last question will come from the woman on the top there, but hang on just a second. We'll take that comment under consideration. We don't have an answer for you on that one. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Aloha. My question is for Army Corps, but I'd also like to thank Lori and all those involved for getting the bus rides through Lahaina. Big, big mahalo. Big mahalo. I spoke to you before, Colonel, regarding signage, because as of tomorrow at noon, you are opening Honoa Pi'ilani Highway, but it still just says official entry only. But there still is no indication that Lahaina town is closed. And with all this promoting, come to Maui, come to Hawaii, bring it. But there is no indication. Is that something even on the table, or is it not even discussed that Lahaina town is closed?
Well, thank you for the question. From the Corps perspective, we're working as a federal partner and teammate here with both the county and the state. Honoa Pi'ilani Highway obviously is a state highway, and so the state Department of Transportation has been intricate into our planning effort, into the planning effort that's kind of housed here at the county and in our weekly meetings. There will be signage. I've been assured there will be signage locally. I think you're referring to maybe signage at the airport or signage on the radio to basically announce to the community what's happening and what you should and should not be doing with regards to the opening of the Hanawa-Pilani Highway? Is that?
Well, if you're just going off Keawe Street or you're passing Safeway going south on Hono'opilani Highway, there it says official entry only on the electronic billboard, but it doesn't say like the road will be open, but it doesn't say Lahaina town is closed. And with all this promoting of Hawaii and the cheap flights coming in here and the tourists that want to visit, they still want to go down and see the banyan tree or McDonald's is open or whatever their GPS says. But there is no indication at all anywhere on an electronic billboard sign or a homemade sign that Lahaina town is closed.
I appreciate the question. I'm going to pass it off to Everett, who is my counterpart here in the county and can hopefully answer this question.
Thank you for that question. We will work with DOT for that signage, as well as the visitor industry, to make it very clear that Lahaina town is still closed.
Okay, so will that happen while you open the highway? Because, I mean, I know there was a request by some of the Lahaina residents to hold off until after August 8th to open that highway, but that was not possible. And it's already been announced publicly all about the opening at 12 noon, but never in that media announcement was there an indication that Lahaina town is still closed.
Lahaina town is still closed. The DOT is going to put the signage up before this road's open, which is why the road's not opening till midday. And there are just as many people that asked us to open the road as asked us to not open the road, or the state, I should say the state. It's not our road, but we agree with them. I just want to know that every decision we've made throughout this entire process for the last 12 months has not been unanimous. There has not been a unanimous decision on anything so far. Everything's been divided. Everything's been, one group says this, one group says that, every single thing. We weighed all of that in the decision that was made. But we absolutely agree with you, which is why the speed limit was reduced. There will be increased police presence on the road. We've changed all the checkpoints so that people cannot go in. Some of you who have placards that are allowed to go in will have to continue to go through where you were supposed to go through, even though it'll seem more convenient to go off of the road. That's not happening. People want us to open the swimming pool. They want us to fix the parks. That's all stuff that's going to happen as well. There'll be more of that. This is still a construction zone. It was a trade-off. We're hoping nobody gets hurt. The first time somebody gets hurt, everyone's going to say, see, we told you, don't open the road. We told you not to open the road. We know that. We accept that risk as well. But we certainly hope the benefits outweigh the dangers. We aren't promoting tourists to come through there, if they even know about that highway or not. But the point is, we did that for the local community. We did that for you guys. Not so more tourists could come through Front Street. It was so that you guys could go through that way and not get stuck on Keawe. The traffic you folks had before all of this happened was with Hono'opilani open. And you have had to deal with so much worse traffic with that not being open. We thought it was obvious to open it, whether it was the 1st or the 8th. So I didn't want any of this to fall on the Army Corps or Everett or anybody else. It was just a decision made, taking into account all the different considerations. And we hope it works. We want people to drive slower. We want people to drive straight through. You go straight through unless you're one of the trucks that need to get in and out. And again, part of the reason for this, the Army Corps has done such a great job. We didn't expect to be this far along on the debris cleanup.
Great job, great job.
No, so
Also,
we
Mayor?
weren't expecting to be this far along, so the road would have still continued to be closed if we had 40 crews still working in there. But as you heard, there's 30 more residential lots and of course a handful of the commercial lots, many of those. So they were able to reduce the number of work crews that are working in there. Those of you who work around there all know this, you see this. So we thought on balance it was safer to do it now. And then this gives families a chance to get used to that new route before the 7th when school opens. We didn't want to open it the same day school opened, thinking that would be a little more hectic. So a lot of it went into that. A lot of consideration went into the decision.
It is my understanding that off of Highway 30 going up to Lahaina Luna Road, is that still not accessible because of the smokestack?
That's correct.
Okay,
And-
thank you
and
for
again, that was a-
confirming that.
Yeah, that was a decision made but we do have engineers that are coming on to give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down. We're hoping it's a thumbs up. And again, that's a safety issue, is to have that closed. We were not expecting that either. I mean, beautiful Lahaina Road was repaved. I know you guys know this. It's beautiful, and we hope to get used to it, get able to use it as soon as possible. As soon as the engineers make their decision, and we sit with the landowner and all the parties that are involved in the decision as to what to do. But the concern right now was safety.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, everybody.
Before we close, we just want to remind everybody, it is definitely going to be some challenging weeks ahead for many in different ways. So we want to remind you to take care of yourself, do the things that you love to do, including going to the beach for safe access, enjoy time with family and checking in with each other. But be kind to yourself. I'll let Mayor close off tonight and mahalo. Okay, he's already. Thank you, everybody. We so appreciate you. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, we've closed off the questions already. Oh, and I just want to invite, there's a prayer group as well here at that white table. Ma'am, did you come on up and ask the person that you have a question for? Mahalo, everybody.